So I run the Worth group, and what the Worth group is it's different than Daughters of Light in that it's all for all adult women. So we teach the same things for the adult women that we would teach for the girls in the Daughters of Light, and it's only for adult women because there's some adult women that go through a lot of painful things, and they need help sometimes when they're going through painful things, and I feel honored for the privilege to work with these women who are in pain, who have gone through very difficult things, most often with their husbands or significant others. If anyone has any questions about that later, feel free to come and talk to me about it, and I can let you know more about what our group is and what we do and what we work on. Right now, I'm going to talk about connecting to your divinity, or more specifically, reconnecting to your divinity. Mindy and I were talking a little bit when she had this brilliant idea to do a kickoff for the Daughters of Light. So we were talking, and she had this great idea about the Daughters of Light. She had this wonderful idea of really reaching out, not only to just the girls, who the group is for the Daughters of Light and the young single women, but also for the mothers, and also for the wives, also for all the women. And we were talking a little bit about it, and about what to talk about, what we felt would be helpful for you guys to hear, and we threw out reconnecting to your divinity. And it really struck me really hard and stuck with me that that's what I wanted to talk about today, because I think that's really important, is to reconnect to your divinity. And that begs the question, what is your divinity? How would you guys define divinity? Anybody? Anybody want to give it an effort?
It's the worth that we came with from before.
The worth we came with from before, right? We're all daughters of God. We came down here. Before we were ever here on the earth, we came down with our own individual worth, with our own gifts, our own attributes, our own divine traits that make us who we are. Does anybody else have a thought on divinity? Okay, so it's inheriting what God has given us, the abilities to give back to Him, to become godlike ourselves. Okay, and not only just our attributes, but also that ability. God DNA, we have God DNA. I like that. All right, so the divine nature, roles that you take on, and roles of motherhood. And Haley is saying that divinity would encompass motherhood and being a mother and those traits and what that means.
Progress.
Right, we know divine nature is from personal progress. So if we are to reconnect to our divinity, that would indicate that we are not connected to our divinity. If we are not connected to our divinity, what would that look like? Anybody want to guess? What would that look like to not be connected to our divinity, not be connected to who we are, what we believe in, what we came down here with? Doubtful.
Lost.
Very lost.
Numb.
Numb. That's a big one. Critical. Undirected. No direction. Lost. No guidance. Fearful. Oh, welcome to my life. Fearful, right? Especially right about now. Absolutely. So, what's your name? Allison? So Allison was saying that it's distraction. That everything we do, so all the media, all the technology, everything we do is distracting us and maybe keeping us away from our divinity, from being able to focus or understand or see or hear what we need to be hearing to give us guidance and direction in our lives, to give us help in our lives.
Busyness goes with that.
Busyness, distraction. Absolutely. So we measure ourselves by things that are not divine. We measure ourselves, it's kind of what Mindy was talking about earlier, is that we measure ourselves by, are we not good enough? What are we fat? Are we ugly? Are we all these things? We're not pretty enough. We're not smart enough. We're not courageous enough. We're not enough. And if that's what we are basing our divinity off of, if we're comparing ourselves to something that we're not enough of, then we won't feel divine, and we won't be able to touch or to reach into our divinity. All right, so that being said, it's confusing, it's dark, it's hard, it's lonely, it's misguided, it's hard to find direction, it's hard to find the guidance that you need in your life. It's hard to have strength if you are not connected with your divinity. So, the opposite of that would be, how do you reconnect to your divinity? How do you become connected? And what does connected look like? What does it look like to be connected to your divinity?
You have to invite God into your life every day.
You have to invite God into your life every day. So you have to work on it. It doesn't just happen. You don't just all of a sudden wake up and say a prayer and say, well, today I want to be connected. Heavenly Father, let's do that. It doesn't quite work out that way. Heavenly Father says, yes, let's do that. And, oh, where did you go? But you got distracted. And why are you looking at that? And you got really busy. And where did you go? Because I really wanted to help you out with this.
Confidence.
Confidence. To be divine would be to be confident. To be able to stand up and say the things and do the things that you want to say and do that Heavenly Father would have you say and do. Confidence. Even prophets. It's an amazing thing. So what she said was that to be more focused on what's here, right? What's inside your heart. To be focused there, not here, not with what do I look like today? Is my hair curled enough today? Do I have enough makeup on today? What do I look like that people are going to see me and they're going to judge me? And do I look good enough for them today? It's not so much focused here as it is focused here. Who am I today? Do I have confidence today? Do I have the ability to stand up and use my voice and say, I'm not going to allow anybody to treat me badly today. I'm not going to allow someone to hurt me today. I'm going to disengage from that and not allow myself to be part of that anymore, or allow myself to treat anyone else like that as well. So a role model and a mentor is absolutely critical to identify and to watch, to see what they're doing, to model their behaviors. Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift may not be the best people to model after. They can be fabulous at what they do, but they may not have all those traits of divinity that you're searching for. Did you have something, Etsy?
Yeah.
So when we find out who we are, when we tap into our own divinity, when we start to realize what we have and the confidence that we have inside ourselves, we get to be those role models. We don't have to look to others to be a role model for us. And if we are mothers, if we are adults, to have the opportunity and the ability to tap into our own divinity so that we can have confidence, so that we can understand what it is that would bring us happiness and peace and direction and guidance and strength in our lives, so that we can be that for our daughters, so that we can be the role models for our daughters who are having difficulty finding that themselves. Who are we not to be? Mm-hmm. So when you tap into your own divinity, you feel more peace. As you feel more peace, you feel more confidence, so that you are more able to do the things that you need to do, the things that you're inspired to do, the things that the Spirit is witnessing to you to do. You are more able to do those things if you're not distracted, if you're not focused on other things. There's a saying in the book, Putting on the Armor of God, one of the best books ever. I highly recommend it if you've never read it. Putting on the Armor of God by Stephen Kramer. Talk to me later if you forget. Okay. In that book, there's a quote. It says, what holds your attention holds you. Very powerful. What holds your attention holds you. If you're focused on negatives, if you're focused on distraction, if you're focused on what this looks like, and you're trying so hard to be what other people want you to be, then you lose the focus of what you really are supposed to be. You lose the focus of what you're meant to be. The more focused you are on your divinity, the more focused you are on your connections that are going to be uplifting and edifying, spiritual connections, friend connections, family connections that will bring you joy and happiness. If you're more focused on those things, you don't need to be focused on these things. These things won't matter as much. Absolutely, it's connecting to your divinity. So what Emily was saying was that The more you can focus on where your foundation lies, the stronger that you will be. Because we are imperfect people. We are flawed. It's like, who was saying it? Moses. We were talking about Moses up here. We were talking about prophets of old. They had uncertainty. They had doubt. They had fear. They talked to God and said, I don't know if I can do this. You want me to do what? Right? They were saying that a lot if you read in the scriptures, which means even our prophets, even people that we look up to, had doubts and fears, just like we do. We all have doubts and fears, and we all can get stuck and mired in them and have inaction, not be able to move forward, not be able to progress, not be able to do the things that we need to do unless we have a sure foundation. There was one perfect person on this earth, one, who had no doubts, who had no fears, who knew, who was confident. One. Okay, that pretty much would indicate that all of us have issues going on. We all have things that can stop us sometimes. So again, going back to distraction, it goes back to where is our sure foundation? It goes, interestingly enough, so this, what's your name? Allison. It goes back to where is your focus and what are you doing? And everything that Allison was saying was about connecting to your divinity, which goes back to who am I? Am I smart? Am I brave? Am I courageous? Am I hopeful? Am I kind? Do I have empathy? We have a role, a divine role that we were given as women, as young women, as women who will grow and progress for the rest of our lives. We have role as women to have empathy, to have compassion, to have understanding, to love those people around us. What are we doing to get more connected into that? If we're constantly looking at a phone or a device or distracted with busy, if we're constantly distracting ourselves so that we are coping with pain of things that are going on around us, if we're doing that, we're not connecting to the things that make us authentically us. To be authentic, to be a woman, to honor yourself, honor your emotions, be who you were intended to be, is connecting to your divinity. Do we have the ability to do that? Every single day we have the ability to do that. It's like what Rachel was saying. It's action. We must do action. We can't just sit and go, well, I just want to be connected today. I want to be connected to Heavenly Father. I want to be connected to me. It takes action to do those things. I don't know how many of you guys saw this Life-Changing Services, women's programs for Life-Changing Services. At the very bottom of that, there's a quote by Marianne Williamson, and I love this quote. This quote at the bottom is only a portion. It's the first or second paragraph of the entire quote. And so I just wanted to read it because I love it, and I think it's very powerful, especially for women to know. It's our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, why am I to be brilliant? Who am I? To be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, or fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Every day, who are you not to be? If every day you can remind yourself and wake up in the morning and say, I am enough for who I am enough. And I will go through the rest of this day knowing that I am enough. I don't need to do anything here to be more than I already am. I am not more than I need to be. I am not less than I need to be. I am enough, just who I am.